Hello and welcome to Creative Sparkle. My name's Holly and today we're doing an art journal prompt list. So grab your art supplies and let's get crafting. Hello and thank you for joining me today. So as usual, working in a recycled book, the first thing to do is to prime the page. So the first prompt is to prime the background for heavy colour application. So I'm just covering that background with a couple of layers of white gesso, and if you're working in a normal book rather than a recycled one, you don't necessarily need to prime, so don't worry. Prompt number 2 is to scrape the background with a palette knife, adding 2 dark colours and 1 light colour. So I've chosen black, sap green and blue. So the blue is my lighter colour. So I'm starting off with the lighter colour so I don't end up mixing them together with the palette knife. I don't want them mess all over my page. So I'm just scraping them on with the palette knife all over the page, and then I'll move on to the green, and then I'll move on to the black, and we'll get all those onto the page and cover the background. If you don't want to cover your background completely, that's fine, you don't have to do that. And if you don't have a palette knife, don't worry, there are other things you can use. So you could use an old gift card or loyalty card, whatever, like credit card type thing that you have available to you. So don't feel like you need to worry about the details. We just want to get that background on. So once you're happy with that colour application, we'll move on to prompt number 3, which is to add texture to the page using tissue paper. So I'm going to use this tissue paper that I bought from a supermarket. It's just simple pattern tissue paper, and you can use plain if you prefer. It doesn't have to have a pattern on it. And I'm just cutting strips, and then when I put them down on the page, I'm scrunching it up at the same time, just so that it's got that texture that the prompt required. So I will put those strips all over the page, and then I'm using Mod Podge to stick them down, and I'm putting a layer over the top as well, just to make sure that it sticks quite well, and we'll cut off any excess from the edges. So prompt number 4 is to add colour to the tissue paper if it's not coloured already, or add highlights and shadows to the tissue paper. So I have this wild violet colour, and I'm going to add colour, literally just add colour to the tissue paper that I've added, because it is a very black and white type tissue paper. It doesn't have colour on it at all really. So I've watered down that paint just so you can still see the patterns underneath, and I thought the contrast against the background would be quite nice with that colour. So you don't have to colour over the full amount if that's not what you want to do with yours, so just do what you feel is best for your page. So prompt number 5 is to do some doodles or Zentangle or stamping over the background, whatever you feel is best for your page. I chose to do stamping, and I'm using this stamp set that is musical instruments or musical ephemera and I'm using a silver marker pen to go over the stamps because I don't have a silver stamp ink pad, sorry. So I'm using a silver pen just to scribble over it and then stamp those into the background. And then the second stamp I'm using, which it's a bit smaller, I'm going to stamp that over the background as well. It's just some music notes that you can see there. So after I've finished with those stamps over the background, we'll move on to prompt number 6, which is to choose a musical instrument as a focal image or to inspire your focal image. So I found these toppers in my stash and I'm going to use this purple and yellow one. I think it's yellow. I couldn't decide whether it was yellow or green, but I already had green in my background, so that's fine. But I think it's more on the yellow side, so I'll just get that cut out and stuck down on the page. And then to go with it, the prompt number 7 is to add ephemera relating to your instrument. So she has a guitar and instead of using it for the instrument directly, I chose to cut from silver paper in the scan and cut that I have, and just do those music notes and the treble clef as well. So I'm just going to spread those around the page. Because I use silver stamp, that's why I decided to use silver cardstock to cut those out. And again, I'm just going to use Mod Podge to get them stuck down. So prompt number 8 is to add song lyrics to the page, and it can be either title or background, it's completely up to you. And I've chosen to use a yellow metallic pen. So the reason I chose yellow is because of the focal image, and I thought it would go better. And the lyrics that I've chosen are every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. So from the Police song. So prompt number 9 is to use pastels or a soft medium to add a soft border. So I've chosen again to go with yellow, and it's the lemon gelato, and I'm just simply going to colour onto the page over the edges and blend it in with my finger. I haven't added any water or used a baby wipe or anything to moisten up my finger. I'm literally just smearing it in or smudging it into the page for the border. So once your border's done, we'll move on to prompt number 10, which is the final prompt, and it's use liquid pearls, glitter glue or gems, etc. to finish your page. So I chose liquid pearls, and I've chosen yellow in the pastel colours, and I'm just going to do dots around the page just to bring that page together. But unfortunately, when I finished with that, I didn't think that it was bright enough and didn't really go with the yellow that I'd chosen, so I chose to add yellow enamel instead of the yellow pearl, and I thought it was a bit brighter and looked better with the page, and then decided that the words that I'd added weren't strong enough either, so I'm going to go over those with the enamel dots as well. So once that's done, that will be the page finished. The full prompt will be at the end of the video as usual. If you do decide to take part in the prompts list, please do tag me on Instagram with the hashtag #SparklePrompts. And if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time, where we will turn your creative spark into creative sparkle. Thanks. Bye.